Hello, I'm Mark Corcoran and welcome to my country. Australia is seen as a land of the fit and healthy, with plenty of sun, sand, surf and sea. But there is a flip side. Bobby Basram is Australian and disabled. Diagnosed at age 13 with multiple sclerosis, he's passionate about forcing this country's 3 million disabled to enjoy the good life, all of it, and that includes sex. In Behind Closed Doors, The Disabled in Australia, he takes a no-holds-barred look at their lives. And a gentle warning, some of Bobby's images are uncomfortable viewing.
Hello, my name's Bobby Basram and I've had MS for over 20 years and I've been to hell and back. And I'm bringing you a show called Behind Closed Doors. Disability in Australia. It's about hope, it's about getting out there, believing in yourself, the inspirational stories, the ecstasy they endure. It's one whole big community that nobody really wants to know about. And that's what this show is all about. Heath is a 26-year-old living with spina bifida. I brought him and some of his mates to Fratelli in South Melbourne to talk about his disability and how it affects his lifestyle.
I was born with spina bifida, which basically means that I was born with a lesion on my spine, which has profoundly affected the way I walk.
For a lot of my friends I know, and I assume that's why I'm attracted to them all as friends, is that it's all about the person.
It's like you want us to talk about your disability, but we don't even see that you've got a disability. It's not, you know, I'm sure there are worse things about you than your spina bifida.
There are. When you asked us to come and do this, we sat down and had a little talk about what it actually meant to hang out with you and the fact that you've got spina bifida. And I just remember you saying to me one day that it was spina
God got my spine at IKEA.
I got his spine at IKEA. How the you put this together?
When I walk down the street, I don't notice the way I walk. You know, if I'm going through a tight door or something like that, that's when I go, oh, I can notice the fact that I'm about to, you know, hit the rim there. Yeah. But as far as walking down the street is concerned, my mind will compensate and, you know, navigate my own body without me even thinking about it. Yeah.
One time I was driving with Heath in Carlton and we pulled up on Lygon Street and we both got out of the car, we parked in a disabled spot and we got into the car and this old couple turned to us and they just pulled up and they said, oh, do you realise that car parking spot was disabled? And Heath's like, yeah, I'm disabled.
Do you know I've never seen you walking without your calipers?
I decided to leave Heath and his friends just as the party was heating up and wanted to find out more about spina bifida.
Spina bifida comes from the word for split spine in Latin. There are an estimated 11,000 people with spina bifida in Australia, which is half the population of Alice Springs. In the world, there is an estimated 3,395,000 people with spina bifida. That is the population of Uruguay.
Disability has a wide range of conditions. When people talk about disability, they will normally be talking about physical disabilities. What about the mentally disabled and neurological conditions, such as epilepsy? And there are long-held misconceptions held by the community that epilepsy is a mental disability, which in fact it is not. Epilepsy Action Australia has been long working towards dispelling this wrong misconception. They might not be as obvious than the physically disabled, but there are many people that have been diagnosed by depression and epilepsy.
I've had epilepsy. Discovered I had epilepsy 6 years ago. I wrote my car off, went over an embankment, and I woke up in casualty and I was told I had epilepsy. I suffered my first tonic-clonic seizure. I'd had a seizure before, but I wasn't aware what it was. Sometimes I wake up and I'm disorientated because I've had a partial seizure and I don't know what day it is and I have to take a little while to orientate. I've got a little bit of memory damage. I have trouble remembering Nicole's name. Sometimes it just left me.
Is it that bad?
Sometimes it is. I was quite successful in my business at home, in the shiatsu clinic. and I've been doing that for many years.
Did you have to give it away, or do you continue to do
I
it?
continued. I stopped advertising, promoting it, because I couldn't just see the numbers of people that I used to see. I'm trying to gain remission from this rheumatoid arthritis, the effects of treatment. And also, I'm involved in rock and roll dancing. I enjoy it.
That looks pretty good, mate. And so it's really good, actually, how it works. But the man takes the lead, unfortunately. He's got a lead. Oh, goodness. I don't know about this. Sort of a surprise.
Epilepsy is a term for a group of disorders caused by excessive electrical signalling in the brain. In Australia, an estimated 170,000 people have epilepsy, which is 6 times the population of Alice Springs. Up to 500,000 may develop epilepsy in their lifetime. In the world, an estimated 50 million people have epilepsy, which is the population of South Africa.
What do you want to see happen to you?
I know no one's got a magic wand. As far as support goes, I'd like to see for the frail age, because I saw a lot of women, mainly women, they had no way of accessing the community. They're living independently, doing very well, not costing government anything. But people do need transport. Transport's a big issue.
To address this need for transport, Silvertop Taxis in Melbourne have a division which specialises in the transport of disabled passengers. Are you happy that you're involved in the Silvertop, your company's involved in transporting disabled people?
Oh, look, absolutely. It's a department that's very critical, and we pull a lot of resources and effort into that area. It's something we take very seriously.
That's excellent. Teresa, what's your job?
I'm actually the wheelchair accessible taxi manager.
Explain.
Okay, I oversee the fleet. At the moment we've got around 90 wheelchair accessible taxis associated with the company. I also have contact with organisations such as Scope and people who actually use the service. Silvertop also puts a lot of time and effort and resources into actually maintaining a department that's specifically dedicated to wheelchair bookings. We've got a staff of around 8 to 10 people that are on 24/7. They're specifically trained to be able to take these bookings and deal with the people involved.
The owners and drivers of these disabled-friendly vehicles are trained to meet the needs of their disabled passengers and play a vital role in the disabled community.
You look surprised with the tales of my demise. Oh.
We're travelling out to Brayside to visit the Southern Comfort International Brothel. I've never been inside a brothel, let alone one that is disabled friendly. We are going to follow the journey of a disabled man who comes to the brothel for sex. Now, what have you got? What do you suffer from?
Cerebral palsy.
Cerebral palsy. Have you were born with it?
Yeah.
I want to ask you, why do you come to a place like this?
To get a certain service.
Do you think it's a good service for the community that you're doing?
I think it's a very good service for the community. There's nowhere else where Toby can go except for places like this to feel intimate, to feel cared about, to feel needed, and to feel as a normal human being.
Disabled people and sex, does that cross into your area?
Absolutely.
Fiona Patton is the Executive Officer of the EROS Association, the Australian Guild for the Adult Industry, and also the President of the Australian Sex Party, founded in early this year.
So Kara was saying, look, I know that this bloke or this girl really wants to go to a brothel, she really wants to have sex, but it's illegal. You know, the brothel's illegal. So where does that put me in dropping them off there or arranging for them to visit? For these people to be able to access services and for their carers to feel comfortable, we need a legal, regulated, safe place to offer these services.
Denise has cerebral palsy and tells me about her needs, about her sexual experiences, fetishes, and why she actually takes this path. She is a retired swimming Paralympics bronze medalist who had her first sexual experience with a male sex worker when she was just 16 years old.
My first sexual experience was with a male sex worker, so that I wanted it to be a good experience and I wanted it to be an educative experience because I didn't know that sex was possible for me.
Was it fun?
It was, because it taught me that sex is an equaliser, and like everybody else, I am a sexual being and have a right to have sexual expression.
I will now be speaking to Dr. George, who is the Coordinator for Disabled Youth Affairs in Victoria on all matters related to disability and sexual issues that affect disabled people.
It's really interesting to me when I work with disability services and support organisations that no one wants to talk about sex. People are starting to come to me and say, oh, you know, I'm the CEO of a disability service and I want my staff to be more open to sexuality.
Do you have sex?
Do I have sex?
Yeah. No, go on.
Is anyone listening?
No.
No, I'm a virgin.
Really?
Yeah. But I know people with disabilities that you know, definitely have pretty amazing, you know, sex lives, social lives.
The fact that we are weaving wheelchair.
All of it, and that includes sex. In Behind Closed Doors, the disabled in Australia, he takes a no-holds-barred look at their lives. And a gentle warning, some of Bobby's images...
Hope, it's about getting out there, believing in yourself, the inspirational stories, the ecstasy they endure. It's one whole big community that nobody really wants to...
...are uncomfortable viewing.
Hello, my name's Bobby Badram and I've had MS for over 20 years and I've been to hell and back, and I'm bringing you a show called Behind Closed Doors. Disability in Australia. It's about...
Hello, I'm Mark Corcoran and welcome to my country. Australia is seen as a land of the fit and healthy, with plenty of sun, sand, surf and sea. But there is a flip side. Bobby Badram is Australian and disabled. Diagnosed at age 13 with multiple sclerosis, he's passionate about forcing this country's 3 million disabled to enjoy the good life.